Good evening, ladies and gentlemen all around the world. You have tuned into KVRX 91.7 FM. It's Monday and 6 p.m. and you are listening to your favorite show, Nostalgic with Sadiq. And I'm your most lovable DJ, DJ Sadiq. Before I begin my show, I want to thank all the listeners for the amazing fan mails that you've sent and the great support that you have shown over the days. Fan mails, calls, letters and great surprises. I just can't thank you enough. Thank you for all that you have done for me. Nostalgic with Sadiq, ladies and gentlemen, is a celebration of nostalgia. And to pay tribute to those wonderful moments of the past, we generally invite some wonderful people to our show to talk about their lives. It is a tribute to the golden days of our past. And to pay tribute to this show, we have a wonderful guest in our show today. Well, whatever I say about her is not enough. She is an Indian-American novelist, an actress, an academic, a singer, the mother of another actress. She is a very popular face in TV as well as in cinema. She is a great performer and she has performed in TV shows like True Crime, Third Watch, Law and Order and films like The Guru and ABCD. She has won millions of hearts worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest of honor tonight is Susham Bedi. Susham ji, namaste. How are you doing?
Namaste. Doing very well. Thank you.
Okay, Susham ji, there is a trend that in Nostalgic with Sadiq, we welcome our guests with a little gift. So this is for you, Susham ji.
Thank you.
Okay. Susham ji, welcome to my show, and I want to welcome you because you have seen so much in life and you're going to share everything today with us, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Susham ji, what should I say about you? A professor in such a prestigious university like Columbia University, an actress, a novelist, a singer, a happy wife, and wonderful family. How does it feel like being Susham Bedi?
Well, I'm very thankful to whatever one has, and but you know, a person is always striving to get something, to do something,
exactly.
to better yourself, and same way. I mean, I want to write better novels, some more novels. I mean, sometimes I feel, oh, I have written 8 novels, that's enough.
Just 8?
But exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's always, you know, sky is the limit.
Sky is the limit.
So even when it comes to my family, I have, of course, a son and daughter, but I have 2 grandchildren.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I enjoy them a lot, and that way I feel very fulfilled with my family.
Exactly.
But then again, you know, always wishing and praying for their happiness.
Absolutely. Again, their sky is the limit. I mean, giving them as much happiness as possible.
They can have.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Susham ji, I mean, your beginning was like, your life began from Firozpur, Punjab, a little place called Firozpur, Punjab. And it has been a long journey from Firozpur to Columbia University and today KVRX studio.
Yeah, I know. This is because I'm coming to Austin for being a writer in residence.
Yeah.
Here.
So, how has the journey been from Firozpur to...
Well, it's a long journey. In fact, you know, Firozpur I will not remember.
Yeah.
Except that it's interesting that the university there, they have a number of PhDs on my literary work.
Oh.
Yeah, so that is like they feel that Susham Bedi is our writer. That's the feeling Punjab has, and Firozpur especially because I was born there.
Absolutely.
It makes me happy. But I left Firozpur maybe when I was 2-3 years old and then came to Jalandhar, studied there till 3rd grade and then till 5th or 6th grade in Ambala, and then I went to Lucknow. And in fact, I think my life, my writing, interest in writing, and even drama, because that is the age I went to 7th grade. I started radio, right away children's program. Then in school I was also participating in plays, and in couple of years, like the end of 9th grade and beginning of 10th grade, I was writing poetry, and then in 10th grade I wrote a novel
Oh my God.
in Lucknow. So I think it has a lot to do with the atmosphere in Lucknow itself.
Exactly.
Once that I was a teenager, I was growing up. Second, it was very Hindi, Urdu atmosphere in
Absolutely.
that city. You know, it's a city of Nawabs
City
and
of Nawabs, yeah. Kebabs.
and kebabs. Very, very interesting happenings all around you, Hasratganj, and it was a new experience for me.
Absolutely.
And so somehow in 10th grade, I mean, I must be very stimulated those days to write a novel, which I don't have, shared with a friend, and then I had to move to Allahabad because my father put me in a boarding.
Yes.
And then 11th grade, after 11th grade, I took test for Delhi University. So from BA onwards, then I mean, starting with BA, I was in Delhi, and then back to television again because Doordarshan was a new thing. In those days, I came in the 60s in Delhi, and in fact, you know, Doordarshan started in '59, and I was in Lucknow.
Exactly.
In
I just briefly want to tell my audience that Doordarshan is the national network of India.
Yes.
Indian national TV channel
TV
is
channel.
Doordarshan. Yes.
Yes. And there was no other TV
No,
channel
there was
those days.
no
There was
cable, nothing.
nothing,
Yeah.
and this was the only Doordarshan and the area you could see was only Delhi.
Delhi, yes.
Like 12 miles circumference. So initially, and then slowly it increased.
This again became DD2 later on.
Yes,
DD1, DD2.
Now
yes.
they have two channels.
Yeah.
Yes, the one is national and one
Right,
is
Metro, DD Metro.
Yeah.
But now I think we have more channels than.
Now you have
more-
millions of channels,
millions of
like
channels,
you know, since the economy opened up.
So, Sushamji, I can safely say that in 1945 in Firozpur a star was born.
That's nice
so,
of you.
And when I say star was born, it was born into a wonderful family. Now, Sushamji, if you could please tell us about your wonderful family that you had, your parents and especially your sister, who was been in current.
Yeah, I've been much influenced by my sisters. See, we are a large family. We have 7 children.
Exactly.
And I was the 4th sister, and I must tell you that when I was born, nobody was happy.
Yeah.
They generally, you know, the 4th girl is not very welcome.
Yeah.
But I, and the amount of love I got from my older siblings and my parents, so I can never complain.
I'll tell you a little incident about my life. I had 3 elder brothers, and they expected a daughter in my place, and I was born, so like they were a little upset. But yeah, I was welcome.
So in fact, you know, when I was a child, and my sister told me about this incident that you know nobody welcomed your arrival. But then you know I was the darling of my sisters, and
youngest one.
And I was also, you know, one of those children, you know, who would answer. My sister would, you know, being a little girl, and she would teach me counting. And when my father would come, she will tell me, okay, count till 100, and I would do that. And then she will show me how to read the time, and then. So she will tell my father that I can tell time now, and then she would tell me, okay, what time is it? What as a 2-3-year-old, and I used to do all those tricks, whatever they taught me, you know, how little kids they. So and I guess my sister, the sister was just older to me, a 3-year older. She wasn't as bright as I was. So my sister showed me off, and also, poor girl, I feel bad for my sister. She did very well in her life, of course, you know. But they would always compare and say, okay, now she's 5-year-old and cannot tell this, and this girl is 2 years old and can tell. So I was always kind of had importance in the family all through, you know, my schooling and all. Which is not very good now when I see that how, you know, our elders kind of make that kind of difference. But then I grew up, and in BA we were together. My sister was she was the only one, because my other 2 sisters got married when I was like in 8th One sister got married when I was 7th grade. The other got married when I was in 11th grade.
Okay.
So they were gone by the time I was in college. So we were just two of us.
Yeah.
And then we were very close friends. Before that, we used to fight, of course. You know,
the sibling rivalry was there?
Oh, a lot. You know.
Okay.
It's so funny that I was I was more a kind of reflective and brainy kind of child. But my sister was physically very strong. She used to beat me. And so, I mean, but I think those are the kind of, you know, childhood things which always happen.
Exactly.
And but my two sisters were really favorite. Even when I think of my interest in Hindi writing,
yes.
In fact, in 8th grade, we were asked to do an essay by our Hindi teacher.
Okay.
And I talked to my number 2 sister, Pushpa Jiji, and she kind of guided me. She said, told me some good sentences and how I began the first sentence, how you think, opening.
Exactly.
And
that actually takes time.
So I wrote the whole essay, and then when I gave to the teacher, she in fact told the whole class that this essay is the best essay and you have to listen to it, and I was told to read the essay
to the
class.
That was an honor.
So then I think that sort of, somehow that lit the flame of my interest in Hindi, Hindi literature more, and writing, Hindi writing basically, which later I pursued in 10th grade, and then of course in college days, where we were, Delhi University, that's where I studied, and full of Delhi, that whole area is full of activities, full of inter-college competition, poetry and short stories,
dance and whatnot.
So our teachers will always send us there. Of course, plays, and so a lot was happening. Life was very interesting then. Maybe that's where one feels very nostalgic about. Of course, you know that those days can never come back to you. But you do relive. I still have friends who studied with me in college, and they went into teaching also. And so when I go back, we sort of kept up our friendship. So I go back to Delhi, and I really look forward to meeting my friends. And right after doing my MA, I had started teaching in Kamla Nehru College. Which is one of the Delhi University College, and one of them is teaching there only. So it's like going to my old college where I was teaching also, and
seeing the campus and feeling all the more nostalgic.
Yeah. Oh, I have just too many spots to feel nostalgic about, because then my connections with radio, my connections with television. But interesting, when I went back. When I wrote my first novel in 85, 86, and then 86, 87, when I went to India and I had my friends read the novel to give me their opinion and all. So that was when I also had friends in TV, and I had my friends read there too. And it was. I felt so. Now I'm becoming more American. Okay, so I have strong connections here too.
Exactly.
That time I was beginning to make the connections here, and especially if you're writing in Hindi, there's no one who can tell you what your writing is like. So I was very lonely in my writing work. When I did other things, wrote in English, then I had my colleagues at Columbia. But my Hindi writing, nobody was interested in reading. Nobody could read even, except one person who translated my work, David Jubin. but no one else had the sort of patience to go through Hindi, slow reading and that kind of stuff. So for me, connecting with my friends in India was very important.
Very important.
Give them my writing, have their feedback, and then send. But short stories I would send to various magazines and all. Novels, until my last novel or couple of, I always have novels first read by my friends and have their input and kind of my. So the connections I've maintained. I don't know how to define that, but still there's nostalgia because we're all grown now, older, and it's like I think why other day I was thinking why we have nostalgia. I think the best part of our lives is our youth, probably, which never returns.
We crave for them again.
We crave for it.
Susham ji, I just wanted to ask you a little thing. Like, at the mere age of 14 and 16, you were doing radio shows and TV, television, and we must not forget that India was very conservative at that point of time, and society was very conservative. For a young girl like you doing shows like that, I mean, how were the society like?
Yeah, I must tell you that, that radio I joined just like that because my friend was going, and radio is only a spoken thing, so nothing. But when it came to acting, on stage, my father was a bit, he didn't want me to go all the way, although he knew that I was talented and I was doing well in my classes. I was constantly getting top marks, so he didn't have to worry about
complaints.
me. Yeah, he trusted me, he had full faith in me. But that I was at tender age, so he had to be protective.
Absolutely.
I remember those were the days when I was also getting offers from films. I was in 9th, 10th grade that time.
14, 15, 16.
Yeah,
yes.
and I think Raj Kapoor was making a film, and the producer who had liked my work, with whom I went for first TV program in Delhi, and then also Talkatore Garden, we did a play and I was part of that. So he had asked for, an actor maybe which suited my whatever, So he came and talked to my father then, because I said you should talk to my father. He spoke with my father, and my father didn't want me to go to Bombay. And so he said, no, you can, I won't let my daughter go into films. And then it's so funny thing, I told myself also, if I get a 3rd division in 10th grade, I'm going to join films. If I get 1st division, 1st class in high school, then I'm going to stick with academics. And I had a 1st class. So I had to stick with academics. So
were you disappointed that you got a 1st class?
But I thought I could continue with and I was also continuing with my music those days, as well as acting, and I thought I could do it on the side. Whereas, once I joined acting, academics was, then the doors were totally closed for me.
But not vice versa.
And also, somehow there was a whole thing about women acting, It was not a respectful profession. And maybe, so I think, after all, I had probably doubts also at that time.
Exactly.
And what you get from your parents, and I said no, I should kind of do that as much as I'm allowed to do, but also not go all the way. So I never went all the way. In fact, it's so funny. My daughter Purva,
she's also I want to tell my audience that she's also a lovely actress, and she has got all her talent from ma'am. So she's gone all the way in drama, and we still fear for it, although she's got some wonderful roles. She was in East is East and American Desi, played the leads, and many other films, and even now she's doing constantly work, and Law and Order, Boston Legal, all kind of TV programs also. Right now she just finished a play, The Rise of Dorothy Hale, and she's working on now also in Manhattan. Yes.
So my husband Rahul and I always have doubts about it at times that it's like she's such a capable woman. She would have, I mean, if you really, in terms of money, I mean, my son, he joined a different industry and he's a millionaire. Whereas my daughter, obviously, she's making, hands to, just making her both ends meet. So there's always this, that for theatre, there's a sacrifice that she cannot be rich, unless she makes it really big.
Even in India, the same case. It's always the same thing.
Yeah, but she's a great actress. She's a wonderful actress, and whatever she does with full
conviction.
Yeah, and she's totally committed to it.
Absolutely.
So
it's completely like you.
I think that is why I let her be committed to only theatre, because the passion she had, I said I couldn't do it, but let her do it.
Exactly.
Because in this country it's possible to do it also. There is no stigma attached to acting. Which now in India also there's no stigma attached, but in my time
things were different. Susham, I just wanted to ask you, I mean, you're teaching, you're working in the TV, radio, preparing music, also writing novels. I mean, how do you get so much time to do all this?
I think when one wants to do something, you just find time, because when I have to finish some story, or when I'm working on a novel and sort of into it, then I would wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock and do the work. But there are times when I sleep till late, when I don't have pressure. So, but it's like I want to do all these things. I can't give up my teaching. I love teaching also. And I cannot live without my writing is that's my life. So you do take away my life if I'm not writing. I will be like a dead person. I have somehow compromised in acting world in this way that whenever I get a chance I will act, but when there is a conflict, many times I had to say no when there was conflict between my teaching, because I'm in a full-time job. When there was conflict in my teaching and acting, then I had to many times say no to acting. So that's
a little
sacrifices one has to make.
Okay. Sushamji, I mean, what should I say about you? 8 novels, 2 short story publications, 1 book of poems, 1 collection of essays, 1 book on drama, and many, many, many more to come. Tell us something about this life as a writer.
Life as a writer. In fact, it's very interesting that many times I thought I should write and I was not able to write. I was writing in college, and then when I got married, I was going into tea plantations. I said, I can't write much in Delhi with the pressures of city and socialization and this and that.
Can I just take a few minutes and just tell the audience that Sushamji is married to Mr. Rahul, and he's an amazing person, and I've heard so much about him. And a few things about Mr. Rahul, if you could please.
He was head of the Tea Board of India. He started his life as a geologist, became a tea planter, and then he joined Tea Board of India, and now he's a professor himself at Berkeley College in New York only.
Great.
Yes.
And he's been a great inspiration.
And he's a wonderful person. If he wasn't in my life, if some other man was my husband, I probably wouldn't have been able to write. Because it's very important for your family, your husband to give you space and time and let you do. And he's not somebody, if I'm writing, he'll say, keep writing. Don't worry about food. I'm going to get food from outside, or whatever needs to be done, he will do it. So he never, then whenever he had to send me away, if I had to finish finish a book, he would say, just go ahead and do what you have to do. So he never kind of, kind of claps was a very good husband.
1969 and it's almost 2009, so 40 years of marriage.
40 years, oh yeah, we'll celebrate 40 years of marriage next year.
We'll throw a great party on KVRX radio.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, writing has been, like I said, off and on. Initially, although I thought till my first book was published, I thought, nobody took me seriously as a writer. And once that book was published,
Yes.
I was seen as a writer, then it became also easier by the other people in the family and friends to be given more time.
Exactly.
Otherwise people think that why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you going to that particular function or doing this and participating in this? But if I would say